Hi guys, welcome to another movie crew review. Today we'll be reviewing The Roses.
The movie stars Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman.
So in this film, we follow Ivy and Theo as their romance blooms and their kids start to grow up. Theo's career takes a tumbling turn, and then Ivy's career actually takes off in this role switch. So we're going to get into this film review, and Cameron's going to start us off.
Yeah, so when I watched the trailer, I was pretty excited for it. I mean, it showed the aspect of them going at it and they're losing their relationship, but it's still like sort of banter, bickering. So I was looking forward to this sort of comedy aspect to the movie. But for me, the comedy didn't shine through at all. I mean, it was just relentless, them attacking each other, which I found entertaining at the start, but really run dry for me very quickly because that was their one wood in this movie, I suppose. I mean, it's very typical British. They do play on that because they are in America, so they do reference that a lot. That's a very British thing to do. But for me, just the comedy really faded away really quickly. And I mean, I love Andy Samberg, and every time he was on screen, I mean, for me, it was just, I'm blinded of love for him. So it was just a good thing to see him. Kept the movie refreshing for me. But other than that, I think the aspect was just, it was long-winded. It just, the same thing was sort of happening, but maybe getting worse and worse until the very end where it just capitulates and they really go at each other. But then the ending happens and yeah, I didn't mind the ending. I mean, it was impactful in a sense. I don't know. It was just, by the end of it, I just wanted it to end. So that's probably why it was satisfying for me. It just sort of ended everything. But yeah, I mean, it was an okay movie. I just really thought more comedy would shine through. But yeah, just them going at it just for, I think it was an hour 45 was just, yeah, long-winded for me. But the story was good. I did enjoy how sort of the roles reversed, and I could understand the anger that the friction caused in the relationship. I think that was done really well. But yeah, like I said, just the comedy I just wish shined through a little bit more. John?
Yeah, I didn't really enjoy this film as much as I thought I would have. I really liked the trailer and the kind of jazzy music that it had in it. It was real catchy. So I thought that this was going to be a lot funnier than it actually was. Olivia Colman and Benedict Cumberbatch did a good job with the humor, but I think being set with an American cast and the humor styles being different, I think the supporting characters kind of took a lot of the wind out of the sails of this film. So it was something disappointing. I mean, Kate McKinnon pretty much just plays an SNL character like she always does, the creepy kind of weird one that's off on her own shoot. Andy Samberg, he still had some moments and he gets there. He's probably the only character in the whole thing that was able to weave his comedy in naturally, I would say, and not stick out so much like a sore thumb like the rest of their friends that are just a bunch of... So, yeah, I think that the comedy failed for this one. In comparison to the DeVito, The War of the Roses, I think that this isn't as good as that film, whereas that film follows the book a lot more closely, and we see a build up as to their lives together, but also them growing apart and the issues slowly. So when it comes at the end, it's kind of like that Breaking Bad thing. You see where it starts and it's slowly happening. So when you get to the end bit, it makes a lot of sense. This film is kind of like if you watch the first season and then go to like season 5 at the very end of the film. It's just, it jumps very harsh. Like the first hour, everything seems to be okay. And it's small digs that just, when the antics and the comedy that you see in the trailer, pretty much what's in the trailer is the majority of like them fighting each other with the gun, with the crabs in the bath, all that stuff. It's pretty much all in the trailer, so it doesn't really say much for the film, and it left me a bit disappointed. I thought it would be more funny. I think it would have been more gradual growth, and yeah, it was a bit disappointing overall. Moon?
I watched the trailer like so many times. I was just a bit burnt out from the trailer only. Um, I don't hate the movie, but there are so many things that I think could have made it better. So, like you guys, I wasn't actually expecting it to be really comedic, but when the first scene was with the therapist, I was like, all right, this is like funny things. I was laughing, and but after that, yeah, I didn't like laugh at all because the humor is basically both are just banter, they're just fighting, and sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's just not. I love both of these actors, especially Olivia Colman. I'm a big fan of her, and like like she's doing great here. And so the plot is basically something happens, like a storm comes in, a literal storm, like, and their lives just the roles gets reversed, and like she's making the money, and now he's basically a home dad, and there are so many jumps in the movie. Like whenever I was just trying to get into the movie, there would be like a sort of like a little bit time jump, and I was like, where we at? Like the kids have grown up like suddenly, and I don't know when. And like I couldn't like connect to these characters much because all they're doing is just fighting and fighting and fighting, and until the end. And opposed to Cameron, I actually hate the ending of this movie. I was like, all right, maybe. And there are so many scenes where they jump the shark here. There's actually like a whale scene, and they play a bit cartoonish, even with Benedict is having like a heart attack or something. He's just pretending, and it's so cartoonish. And I was like, I don't know, should I take these characters seriously or not? I don't know. But then they're actually fighting, and when they're fighting, then I don't feel like they're fighting sometimes. It's just like they're playing the roles. So that was just such a big disconnect, especially the scene is in the trailer with in the dinner scene. Everyone is around the table and they're fighting. I actually wanted to. I thought, all right, this is the scene that could actually make me like change my opinion. I might like this movie, but that scene made me even like, nah, this is just not as connecting with me because these are just actors who are playing this. These are not actual people. Like, if I felt that, I would love this movie, but it didn't feel that way. So yeah, I didn't have much expectations, but it even didn't meet that yet.
Yeah, I don't know if either of you watched the original film that's based off the book.
I don't know if there is
Yeah.
one actually.
I didn't even.
Yeah. But yeah, even the whole like where they decide, I don't know if it's decide, but where he's Benedict Cumberbatch's character says he wants to get divorced is when after he saved the whale, and he's like, I don't, love you anymore. Takes it away from me.
Yeah.
And in the original film, it was the Theo character, Michael Douglas's character, has a heart attack in the like a club room, and he's in hospital waiting for his wife, and she never comes, and he finally like it's not really a heart attack, and he goes to talk to her, and she's like, I was just so upset, and he thought, oh, upset because I'm gonna die, and she goes, I was so upset because you were dying, and I wasn't sad that you're gonna die, and that's when I felt like I don't love you anymore. And so it was much more powerful in that film than it was in this film, especially because it came like, I'd say at the midpoint of the film. So then you get to see the antics go further and further and further. So they build slowly. It's not all of a sudden like this film, the antics are like books in a fireplace, a couple of flies very small. And then all of a sudden she's like shooting him with a Beretta and he's like smashing an oven. It just jumps like way too quick, way too fast. And the films are comparable runtime, so I think the original one, if you want it closer to the book, I would recommend that one over this one. I don't think the comedy landed, and that's what ruined my aspect for this film.
Yeah, that whole whale epiphany, for me in the movie, it worked, but now hearing the other side of it,
yeah.
the real, what actually happened in the book, I'm just like, wow, that really
It's
dumbed
really
it down and
downer,
made it,
yeah.
it's like you said, it's really less impactful. And now me thinking about it, I'm just like, yeah, he did just save a whale. But in just watching the movie and in that scene, I actually didn't mind it at all. But now because you put that in my brain.
I think if you didn't watch the movie, the film, like even a lot of the choices, like, so the roles are obviously reversed. So Theo is more like the woman character, you would say, as in Michael Douglas's character, he's a lawyer, so he's a high-powered lawyer from the start. And he buys the house for her and she fixes it up. And then she starts a catering business. And pretty much she needs the house because he's got all the money, but the only way she can make the money for her business is to have the house. So without the house, she's screwed. She has no money, no nothing. Whereas in this film, like,
It's just
50-50 and it's petty. And so it kind of like falls. But even like in the film, the original film, they're like, these are tit for tat things. Whereas like Michael Douglas, he runs over a cat by accident. And so then she insinuates that she killed the dog and made the liver into pate. And like, until you see it, but like in the book, she really does it. And like the book's even worse than the movie to start with. It's like, it ends up being like a horror film in the book, I swear. Like there's a scene where like she's having a dinner with everybody. And you know how in the film he poisons with the mushrooms?
Yeah.
He puts like diarrhea medication in, so everybody thinks they got food poisoning in the book.
God.
So nobody wants to eat her food ever again. It's these kind of things, like when you know where it's coming from and then you see it in this film, it's like a very watered down version of the book and the original film.
Yeah. I just didn't ever think it hit a big enough climax for it to reach those petty things that they were doing. I mean, I can understand it, the hatred and stuff, but it's just, I don't know. Maybe because we started with them being together in love, but they were still bantering. So there was no like differentiation from that to the end, because at the end of the day, they're bantering at the start, they're bantering at the end. But especially the ending is just like, well, we've just bantered, but we didn't say the right things at the right time. But now we sort of, that was all a joke. So boom. But yeah.
Because it was just digs from the first minute, even when they were like, when they first met, always dig.
Yeah.
At least, like, and I'm going to say it again, in the original film, they start from love and then they slowly get into digs that go worse and worse and worse. So you can see it changing. But I guess unless you're English and can gather like the difference between one dig and another, it's not gonna fly too well.
All right, guys, we're going to give our scores.
Yeah.
Moon, how many roses out of 10?
5.5 roses out of 10.
John?
Yeah, 5.5.
Yeah, I'll give it 5 roses out of 10. All right, guys, make sure to like, subscribe, check out our socials, and we'll catch you the next one. Ciao.